In the last video at the $1 million pool, you saw us build up that massive 20-foot tall foundation, 3 separate concrete pours, and bring in tens of thousands of pounds of fill dirt to get to where we're at today. In this video, you're gonna see us install rough plumbing, demo literal tons of stone off the exterior of this home, and set up rebar for our next concrete pour. And this is what we're working toward with this project, a multi-phased, multi-million-dollar custom home. Let's get into the video. This might not seem so obvious, but the most important part of putting in plumbing inside of a foundation is getting exactly where your drain and vent line locations are. Now, you're cross-listing this between on-site dimensions and the architect plan. And why this sucks is if you get it wrong, you're gonna pour the foundation, and then when you go in and you put the walls in and you find out that your toilet is not where it's supposed to be, you have to chip out the concrete and move it over. And yes, this does happen, and sometimes things even change and the client wants it moved over XYZ, but we wanna get as close as we humanly can to exactly where it's going to be. Now, we have all of our locations marked. We know exactly where we're gonna be running those pipes. So what the guys are doing is they're digging. And what we do is we dig through everything that our foundation contractor built up. If this was just on the ground, we could just dig holes in the ground. But those bags, what you see, are making those different impressions for the deeper parts of those grade beams through the foundation, right? So we bag all of that up. And the reason why we do the plumbing after is because imagine if we had all of our plumbing lines in there and we're trying to get thousands of pounds of fill dirt and machinery and all this stuff, you're gonna break all that plumbing. Now they just have to fix really the top layer, and that only needs to be fixed where everything's bagged up. Obviously they don't need to mess with it inside of those beams, but we wanna make sure it's all cleaned out. We wanna make sure that the pipes are buried to a depth that they can achieve the fall that we are trying to get. So we use the term fall, and that's essentially exactly what it is. We want to make sure that the slope is falling to the degree that we need it, depending on the size of pipe and the length of the run, because that's very important. So obviously we want gravity to be working for us as much as we can. We can use a pump, but you want to use a pump after it's all kind of left the area, pumping it out towards the clean out in this case. So PVC is an awesome material, A, because it's not biodegradable, so it's gonna last for a really, really long time. Like, they used to use cast iron back in the day, and all the sediment and dirt would just corrode it and it would all crack. So PVC is gonna last a long time, but what's also really cool about it is the ability to cut and fuse it where you want. You use a lot of different couplings and joints, male and female, elbows, 90s, 45s, so many different pieces. But what's cool about it is you can use a PVC glue. And all that is really a chemical agent that when you glue these together, it melts the PVC to a certain temperature that basically fuses it together. So if glued properly, this stuff is also really, really resistant to leaks. Now, you can crush it, you can break it, but as long as you're careful around it and everything's been fused and supported really well, you have a pretty slim chance of it breaking or leaking. So now what you're seeing is the guys are filling up those pipes. We fill them all up, and that means we're putting them on test. And basically all the inspector has to do is come see that it's plugged and go and look in the top of that pipe. And if there's water there at the top, then you're good to go. If there's not water, we know there's a leak. And honestly, we want to make sure of that now before we pour the concrete, right? If everything's not leaking, we're going to be good. If it is, then we'd have to chip the concrete and fix it later. So that's why we put everything on test, and that's why we get it inspected. Above this area, you're going to have a master bathroom and another powder. So you want to make what's called a stack. That's where we take our drain line and we're going to bring it up so that toilet from above can flow down to below. Now, it's great when you can line these things up. A lot of architects like to stack bathrooms and plumbing so we can do that, but that's not always the case. So you want to make sure that wherever you're putting below is either going to be hidden in a wall or go to the actual fixture upstairs to feed it. Now, all of this is going to get inspected by the plumbing inspector. They're gonna check the fall, which is the slope on everything. They also wanna make sure that there's no leaks and it's watertight. Okay, so now toward the front of our house, kind of right off of our garage, you will see what's called the main clean out. This is where all of the plumbing drain lines collect in one spot, and then that's gonna go out to our yard line, out to the septic tank. We need to connect all the plumbing for the new addition to this area, and we have some issues with slope. So, considering putting in some pumps, that is still kind of a TBD. We're gonna see if we can make it by fall, and that's always the easiest path. But if you can't, we put in what's called a grinder pump, and that's where it will take all the waste. It's like a disgusting poop blender, and it blends it all up, and then it'll pump it actually out over to our septic tank. The kind of issue here is with how high the house is from bottom of grade. These pipes, they'll be essentially just hanging out in nowhere. We don't want to see PVC plumbing pipes just like strapped to a wall of the house. So we have this channel between the house and the pool. And this is kind of a utility channel. You see all those pipes, that's where all of our pool pumping equipment. This is a great place to put pipes. I did not want to attach it to the house, so we attached it to the wall of the pool via straps. All of that is going to get backfilled in, and this will be like a utility area. And then the area of ground where those pipes kind of connect between the gap between the pool and the addition, we're going to raise the grade there to hide all of those pipes. A lot of people have been asking, why wasn't the house connected to the pool and vice versa? Well, for exactly what I just explained, this gives us a nice little channel that we can put all of our equipment, and we can put it on the back side of our pool. Everyone's like, why don't you just put it underneath? If you're supporting a load of a pool, now span that over. All of that is going to be heavy steel and really, really costly. So we were able to put piers and fill in that whole bottom part, and then put our pool equipment and our plumbing on the back side of it. It also gives you a walkway from the driveway over to this side yard, which you're going to have access off of the new game room. So honestly, this just works out perfectly. We'll put a nice clean gate on either side of that kind of passageway, and then it will house all that equipment, and it will also keep all the noisy stuff a little more sequestered down there beside the pool. Okay, so now that all of our plumbing rough, that's any plumbing that is inside or underneath our slab, is completed, we are gonna start working on joining these two foundations, the addition and the existing house. But we have a pretty thick limestone cladding on this wall, and that needs to come off so that we can join these two slabs. But you can't just start pulling rocks off at the bottom. What's gonna happen? All that weight is gonna come crashing down. So the guys first need to build up all of our scaffolding, and they need to take it down stone by stone all the way at the top. And this doesn't really matter because eventually that whole wall is coming out when we join the addition to the existing house. So once all that comes down, now we have a clear path, and we can start making forms directly to the existing foundation and joining the new addition to the existing. Okay, so honestly, it's a lot easier when we have a full vacant home and a fully finished plan before we start. But we started just with the $1 million pool, and all of this has been add-on. So our clients have a lot of furniture inside. They have been moving a lot of that stuff out. They're almost done. So we've just kind of been waiting till the very last minute before we take down this wall. We're even gonna leave what's there for another couple weeks while they can move everything out, and then we can rip it down, and then we'll start in demo of the whole existing interior of the main house. All right, now it's time for rebar. And if you've been following along, you're damn near an expert at this point. Remember, we have specific sizes of rebars for the mat, which is just that top layer of rebar that actually holds the slab on top. But then we have those deep portions of grade beams that are held together with these kind of brackets called stirrups, and that's a certain kind of rebar. We have corner bar details. We have to have bricks at the bottom of the trench for the grade beams. All the grade beams need to be a certain width and a certain depth, and all of this steel is gonna get inspected by our engineer, and we're gonna get an all clear on that engineer inspection, plus just like the pool, we need to get all of this rebar grounded. This is a life safety issue. We want to make sure that this is all grounded and no one can ever get electrocuted from how much rebar is in this slab. Once we pass both of those things, we have the clear, and then we will pour. There's been some bad weather recently, but coming up next, we're going to be pouring and updating progress moving forward. Okay guys, I know like everyone loves the $1 million pool, but we have some epic stuff coming up. We have over $75 million of construction in our pipeline. And that's ranging everything from like kitchens, bathrooms. You saw the load-bearing wall removal with the steel beams that we're doing. We have multi-million-dollar custom and spec development projects. So some really, really crazy details to come on that. Obviously the $1 million pool, as we start to build the house, it has a crazy window package. There's awesome stone. There's amazing features. There's chef kitchens, there's elevators, and this is like, we have a dozen projects like that. So obviously follow along. We're going to be releasing all of this as it comes up, and everything is really starting to hit. But what do you guys want to see? You know, do you want me to break down some more details of, like, some people were asking, you know, the steel beams, show us connections and show us like real details and get into the nitty gritty of it? Or are you guys interested in the more big picture, like wow moments? Because we're gonna have it all, and we can go in depth as much as we want. It's really all depending on what you guys want to see, and we're gonna deliver it. As always, I appreciate y'all so much for watching. The feedback has been amazing. Please keep sending questions. Anything you want to know or want to see, we love to hear it. I love interacting with y'all. I'll catch you on the next one.